What's up, y'all? Welcome to Fury Talks. I am your host, Seth Fury. So today I want to talk about the ever controversial topic of cheating. One of the most fearful things that people think about when it comes to getting in a relationship. So to help me with this topic today, I have my friend. She's an actress, a model, an entrepreneur. Allow me to introduce Miss Chaya Drake.
Yay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good to have you. So Chaya, aside from those things that I just listed, she's also, aren't you a black belt?
A little karate, a little jujitsu.
Karate. Okay, so when I first met Chaya, the first thing she tried to do was put me in a headlock. And she would not leave me alone until she demonstrated her headlock capabilities. And I was like, are you sure this is what you want to do right now at this party? You just going to put me up, knock me out? I'm like, take him out. You don't want to take him out? He's a little bigger than me. I'll be more impressive. Nonetheless, that's how we met. And she's here now. So she's often posting on her social media. And she talks a lot about dating and relationships. And she had a lot of opinions. I said, you need to come on my show so we can talk about this together. So
and here I am.
Here we are. Welcome. So I want to read this post that I seen, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards and give our thoughts and opinions on it. It says, my wife is having an affair, and she thinks that I don't know. So,
Wow.
Just that whole message. What are your thoughts on that message?
I feel like it's a cry for help.
Okay.
It's a man in distress. It is somebody that has something to lose.
Okay.
I feel like if he knows that she's cheating, or that his wife, especially wife, not girlfriend, not somebody I've been dating,
worse,
but my wife, and he hasn't brought that up to her, and this is something that is a continuing thing.
Okay.
I feel like there's some underlying fear, whether it's he doesn't want to lose her, there's business involved,
Okay.
there's children. There has to be something that he's fearful of losing, because if he doesn't know what to do or how to come about it, that's what people do when they're in fearful situations.
That's
How to approach it.
For me, when I see this, I know it probably has nothing to do with the quote, but I almost look at it from another perspective, in a sense where he knows it, but he's not telling her because he's like basically one step ahead of her, to the point where he's probably doing the same thing himself. Or because he knows that, he has now detached himself from the relationship, which is allowing him to go ahead and be the cheater that he can be. I think that's the biggest reason why a lot of people cheat, is because they almost want to protect themselves from being hurt by doing it first. Maybe they've been cheated on before and they feel like, oh man, the feeling that I felt when I was betrayed was just unbearable. But if I had already been doing it myself, it probably wouldn't have hurt as much, because I wouldn't have been as committed and as just off into the deep end with this full heart and trust given to one person. What do you think about that?
I understand,
Okay.
but I disagree, because like marriage is such a huge step of comfortability and commitment,
Okay.
that if you're still playing these games, like there was no point in committing yourself to a person like that you feel that you have to even go to that level with.
Okay.
That is something I would expect somebody that's in a relationship to do, because they have nothing, there's no skin in the game. If I know you're cheating, I'm going to be cheating too, so we're just going to be two people that, are our own little situations going on the side. But
Okay, so let's take it to the relationship aspect. Let's take it, because have you been married?
no.
Neither have I. Okay,
No.
so let's talk about what I know. Okay, so based on my
Almost, but
well, that's all right. You back in the game. So based on that and how it made me feel, all I could do is relate it to my dating life. And I thought about just the idea of knowing your girl's up to no good, and the fact that a lot of people just tend to take that type of information, and it's almost as if he probably hasn't even gotten confirmation. It could have very well just been something that he has a hunch on, that he knows she's cheating, and without even confronting her or having a conversation about it, because it's very secretive, he's basically like, okay, she's having an affair and she doesn't know that I even know. And it seems like that to me is just a recipe for disaster, because there's no communication. I myself feel like I would want to confront my girl and figure out if that was actually what was going on. I don't know if I would want to just simply live in this knowingness of her doing something betrayful to me and then just be going about my own business.
I feel like the average person would want to confront.
You want to know?
If the average person doesn't confront right away, it depends on personalities. they're going to confront somebody close to them. Like, yo, look, I, know Seth's cheating on me. What should I do? Like, there's some type of confrontation period that's going to happen. Now, if you're just sitting back like, I know every Tuesday she goes meet Joe down at the, Crab Shack. I haven't been saying anything. It's kind of like, what is your continued role with your wife? Is this someone that you are pretending everything's okay? Is this a person that is sleeping with someone else, but you're still sleeping with them? Yeah. So it's a lot of like layers to the dynamic of why he hasn't confronted her or why he hasn't said something. Basically, I kind of feel like what this situation could be, he's waiting for the perfect time to blow her spot with all the evidence. And people like that, I don't trust.
That's a beautiful thing to look for. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to wait for. If you're a vengeful, spiteful type person.
And they will sit on some information until that time comes. So when they confront you, there's no way of, but no. Yeah. They're going to come with so much evidence, proof, that is almost sickening. And it's like, you've been knowing this for 8 months and you haven't said anything. You've just been keeping this like file on me type of situation.
The problem with that is that you're building up this case on an assumption and a hunch. Until you've actually gotten okay, if he sees them banging in their bed and he came home early from work and he just watched it and left, okay, fine. But I think a lot of times people will assume that there's something going on, and rather than putting an end to it and squaring it away immediately with the conversation, they basically just build up this case. They build up this revenge tactic, and then by the time 6 or 7 months have passed and they're ready to finally reveal all this information they know, it's too late to restore any type of relationship. They've had so much time disconnecting within themselves that it could have very well been something that had a very good explanation. So I think it's stupid to not confront somebody if you think that somebody's doing something, unless you don't really care about her. I think that would be the case in which I just didn't care. Like you said the first time, where you just kind of have something invested in it. Maybe you guys are like business partners, or maybe there's something that is beneficial to you guys being together, and you're just like, I'd rather just keep her around because she's convenient, but my heart has been gone a long time ago. So if she's cheating on me, whatever, I know about it, I'm probably gonna do the same thing myself.
But isn't it scary if he also could be the kind of person, she comes home, he acts like nothing's even wrong, everything's all good, he's happy.
That's a serial killer.
Exactly. So I'm like, who's crazy here?
Yeah. Okay, so to take it more to us, have you ever been cheated on?
I don't think I've been like cheated on. I think some inappropriate actions, like flirting and stuff like that, I would have hurt my feelings like it was cheating. But like somebody just flat out would have.
In your whole life, you've never been cheated on?
No. Maybe like in high school somebody might have been.
That's your whole life. I mean, that's a feeling.
Okay, well, but I've never been like cheated where it's like, my boyfriend, the person that I was dating, like had sex with another person or something like that. But
and you know this.
I know this.
Well, that's kudos to you.
I know this.
For never having to feel that pain. Because I think everybody at some point in their life has felt that pain just a little bit.
I definitely have like betrayal and, stuff like that. I've been in a situation where he didn't sleep with the girl, but, he took her out to eat. Okay. They spent, the day together, night together, or whatever the case may be. But to me, it's the same thing because it's inappropriate. You didn't tell them that you were in a relationship. You took a girl out. You were asking for a picture. So to me, I think that is a form of cheating.
In some people's eyes, it can be worse because that means he's actually having
interested.
Yeah, he's having an emotional connection with them rather than just being, horny, being a guy and just doing something on one night of impulse. Right. So, I think it would be to each his own as to which one is actually more offensive, So let me ask you this. I get this question. People ask this question a lot, and I have my answers. If you found out your man was cheating, right, what would upset you more? If you found out that they had sex together, or if you found out that he went down on her?
Ooh.
Which one's more offensive to you?
I feel like they're both honestly offensive, but if I had to pick one,
which one is gonna get your skin boiling more than the other?
Honestly, if you had your mouth just open and you kiss it on me, I would feel like that's a lot more like disgusting.
The oral aspect is gonna piss you off more.
Yeah, if my boyfriend was giving another girl head, I would definitely, because I would feel like, okay, you're already cheating, so you obviously don't trust the chick or whatever the case is. I would hope that you're using protection. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
But to go down on a girl and then you're kissing me. It's just the idea. I couldn't stomach a girl being like, oh, really? How does my taste?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay.
So I'm like, I couldn't.
So what most guys say is that they feel as if they would be more upset with the oral as well. And the concept behind it is that when you're having sex, it could very well just be a selfish act that you're doing for yourself.
Yeah, self-pleasing. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want this for yourself. But the idea of giving oral is only for the other person. So it hurts more to know that you actually cared enough about this person to want to just please him with no pleasure being done to you. Like, that's just an act of giving. And so something that alone really just bothers guys more, you know? And I get it. I mean, both of them are gonna piss me off, but
yeah.
I think that one will probably be. I've never had a girl cheat on me that I stayed with.
Okay.
I have had friends that have cheated on their girls, and they've come to me and they'll be like, "Yo, man, I can't understand why she's not forgiving me. Like, everybody does it. Like, it's, people make mistakes.
Like, it's a normal thing."
Yeah, like they'll start naming celebrities. They'll be like, "See, such and such cheated," and I'm like, "Man, they're celebrities. They got their whole entire PRs intertwined. It's not the same as your ass. Like, you just and you can't compare yourselves. And it's tough to move forward past that. And I honestly wouldn't even want to move forward past that, because the amount of scrutiny that you're going to get for the rest of that relationship, however long it lasts, to me just isn't even worth it. So I've never been able to stay beyond the cheat. Like, I can't imagine looking at my girl and picturing some grown man just sweating all on top of her and breathing his hot breath in her face. I look at this woman supposed to be the most pure and dearest thing to my heart, and it's just ruined. Now, I don't care if you had a past before I came along, of course, but that image doesn't stay in my head until I've been with you. Now, after I've been with you, I can't allow somebody in between to just fill the gaps in.
Yeah, I respect that.
I can't do that.
I respect that.
And I don't know how the heck people can move forward, like, knowing... Power to the people that can do it. I mean, some people have really gotten...
I feel like men have a harder time accepting a woman back that's cheated than a woman having that same, restraint or hesitation to forgive a man for cheating, because I feel like it's so normalized. Like, if he cheats, then, maybe you guys can work things out. But, men cast this idea of, women are just so... these precious beings that I hold at a high regard, and if you cheated on me, I just couldn't take it.
Man.
And it's like a person that you hold so dear, like, how do you hurt a person? Like, how do you hurt a person like that and expect them to love you the same exact way that they were loving you before you started cheating? It doesn't work that way.
I think the reason why guys cheat more, I don't even want to say they cheat more. I think the reason why guys... I
feel like they cheat more.
No, I think women just do it better. And so that we never find out. Guys are just sloppy with it. Women are like, they're...
Cheating or flirting?
Cheating, both. I know I have a lot of female friends, and I hear some stuff, and I'm just like, wow, like, y'all are slick. Guys just get caught up and they're stupid. But this is what I'll say. I think that guys, as a society, like you said, are accepted to be forgiven easier.
Okay.
Most girls will probably give that advice and say, hey, he's just being a man. You know what I mean? Like, it don't mean nothing. He's just, he's just thinking with his shit. He's not thinking emotionally. And then, on the flip side, it'll be harder to forgive a woman because you just automatically assume that she went into it with this big ball of emotions, because women don't have sex with people unless it's just so in love and emotional, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I do know some women that are pretty much like guys, in which they just...
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I know some girls that it's kind of like...
It's really just like physical. But the theory is that guys are the ones that go in for the action. Women go in with their hearts.
But that goes both ways, because every guy isn't macho. Every guy isn't like, oh, I just hit that. It wasn't nothing more. There are some guys that are extremely emotional.
Yeah.
They've been taking this girl out to eat. They've been asking her, what does she need help with? Can I pay for this? Can I pay for that? So there's already some emotional investment to it. And for a guy to continually cheat with the same person, like somebody, a side chick, I'll say, there has to be some sort of emotion there. There has to be some sort of emotional connection, because for a woman to even know that a man has a girlfriend, he has to be doing something to even allow herself to stoop to that level of oh, I know I can't call him after 8 o'clock because he's home with his family or he's home with his girlfriend. So he has to be providing some sort of emotional, financial, whatever the situation may be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it can go both ways. It really honestly depends on a man's character, on a man's emotional capacity. There are some men out there that are just hardcore. I just smash, and that woman knows that.
Yeah.
And then there's just some guys that are in a whole little situation.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And I feel like those hurt a lot more than I just had sex with her, never talked to her, somebody I met at the bar, I was drunk.
Yeah.
Either one is inexcusable, but it hurts more knowing that a man put his time and effort into this person, because it's just like, oh, you're interested. Like, you're interested in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever been a side chick?
Have I ever been a side chick? No.
No?
But I have began to talk to someone that wasn't 100% honest about his ex.
Okay.
And this was somebody that was extremely, pursued me like no other. And just us both just being like transparent about like, our past. And I just feel like when you date somebody, you kind of talk about your exes anyway.
Okay.
And, he would talk about her. I would talk about my ex. And just, through time and stuff, I just found out like it was not his ex.
Yeah.
It was very much so his girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
It was very much so a girl that was helping him with his situation, was there, through thick and thin, all type of stuff. So, I wouldn't like say I was like a side chick, because he and I were never like dating and never like got to that point. But it was just kind of like, wow, people are really out here, like,
So would you be a side chick if he was upfront and honest with you?
No, because what I want out of life, especially now, it's like, I want a marriage, I want a family, I want these things, and for me to settle for something, I just find this to be something that maybe like a younger woman would be comfortable with, because she could possibly be getting something out of the situation.
Makes sense. Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, he probably will be an older gentleman if he's unhappy in his marriage already.
Yeah.
Or you might find it to be an older woman that doesn't want a man, and she doesn't mind the fact that he's married, because he can go back to his family and she can go back to what she was doing and don't have to be bothered.
Yeah.
So I think it's the spectrum of, it's either somebody that's so young and just looking for a bag, looking to come up, living their best life, YOLO, or it's just an older woman that's kind of like, been through the ringer, been through the games, and it's just like something like that doesn't bother her.
Gotcha, yeah.
Unless you get that side chick that's crazy, and it's like, I am going to be the main chick one day, and then, you got a whole different beast on your hands.
Yeah, I've been the side guy once before. And knowingly, because I deep down believed that she was eventually going to leave that relationship.
How did she convince you?
She didn't convince me. It never happened. But the point is, like, within that time that we knew each other, we got along so well. Like, it was hard to believe that somehow she was placed into my life to just be a side chick. I'm like, now, granted, I wasn't like intentionally trying to break them up or nothing. Like, I wasn't like, man, when you gonna leave that man? We really just started off as really good friends.
Okay.
And then over time, while being such good friends, we were like, dang, we get along really, really well. And I could tell that she felt it as well. But she was in a position where she was just like, I don't know how to leave. You see what I mean? And, she was in a situation. I mean, now she actually left this guy now. And she's like moved
all
on
after
to
the fact.
What happened?
I said all after the fact.
No, this was like years after I left.
Okay.
She eventually moved on, and she's married now and stuff like that. So I knew that she was eventually going to leave this man. Like, it wasn't like a matter of, them working it out. I think she was just complacent and stuck. And here I am, and I'm just like, yo, we have this beautiful relationship. Why can't it just work out, And after so many months and months of going back and forth, eventually I was like, all right, I can't keep doing this to myself. Why you keep looking at the camera? Who's over there?
I'm just listening.
I can see your face expressions, all right? You're judging me.
I'm not judging you. I'm not. I promise.
Listen,
I'm not
I didn't do
judging you. But I will say this. I'm not judging you, but hearing you talk is just reminding me why men don't allow their girlfriends to have like these guy friends that they're cool with, because
yes, you're right. Especially new guy friends. There ain't no reason. But here's the thing. I met her as a friend. You're right. And you're right. You're 100% right. And sometimes I don't see why there should be new guy friends coming into your life either. usually I am very good at just being friends with my female friends, right? In this case, I didn't even really know they were together when we first started being friends with each other.
Okay.
Just because it wasn't something that she was promoting, because she wasn't that happy in the relationship. It wasn't until we started to hang around more often that I found out that she had a boyfriend. And I was like, really? I would have never known just based off your energy from the beginning, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, eventually I'm gonna just stay back. We never had sex ever. So just to be mindful of that. I wasn't the side dude banging her out. I was just the emotional side dude because I really thought that if they left, we were gonna be a real bomb relationship. And she said to me, she says, Seth, if we have sex, because I know that sometimes the chemistry can heat up and I know that you could probably get me to get there. But if we have sex, we're never gonna be friends again. And when she said that to me, I had to make a decision. I said, okay, if I allow my impulse and my physical attraction to her to take over this moment, then I'll lose her for good. So I made a note to myself to never have sex with this girl. That's how much I wanted to keep her friendship, right? Okay. So we never had sex. And to this day, we're still friends because of the fact that we never had sex, right?
Okay.
So that, sometimes sex will ruin it entirely if that's not what it was meant to be. But I was the side dude. And it sucked for a while because I was just like, why? I finally meet a bomb-ass girl and she's in a relationship, an unhappy relationship, and she's not ready to leave. So after I done gave up and moved on and got a new girlfriend, she finally breaks up with that dude and then goes off and gets married. And I'm like, what kind of system y'all working out there? Like, what's the timing that didn't match up for me? So I've been a side dude, but in a respectful way. Not like
respectfully.
I think it was respectfully because I never crossed the line.
Yeah.
Physically, and I gave her the time to handle what she handled, and eventually I just let her go back to where she was at because I'm like, it's not gonna happen. You keep saying you're gonna leave, but you're not leaving, and I don't know how much more I can get my hopes up.
Yeah, I think a situation like that is tricky.
Yeah.
And the fact that you did have that, restraint or respect, however you want to put it, it shows that you did value her as a friend, like you guys said. Like you said, you guys are still friends today, and I feel like it was worth it. It's kind of like, okay, we didn't end on a bad foot. We're still in each other's life. Like, I can live with that. You move on, I move on. But I feel like that's hard. I feel like it's hard to be in a relationship because I've been in relationships or I've been in like situations where it's just like, I'm not happy, but because this person and I have so much entwined, like, it's so much to just walk away in one clean day. Mm-hmm. It's somebody that you've been with for years or somebody that you've been with for a period of time. And it's not that easy just to separate things unless, there's an instance where something abruptly happens and it's just like, I'm out. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, it's just, it's hard to fall out. It's hard to fall out of love. Yeah. It really honestly is. And you can be unhappy with something and you're just comfortable. You're comfortable with this person, so it lags. Or you could truly be ready to move on, but your love for a person is so deep that you're kind of giving them time to kind of like cope with the fact that, this isn't working. Yeah. Which I've learned now, whether you do it quick or you do it short, the same result's going to happen. And I feel like women are a lot more of like, we pussyfoot more so out the door. A man is just going to be like, I'm out.
What's funny? It took me so long to break up with one of my exes because I was so concerned about how she was going to feel about the breakup. I wanted to leave so long ago, but I was so worried about how bad it was going to hurt her that I was like, I stayed around long enough to convince her that it was a good idea to break up. I almost wanted it to be her idea. Because I was like, if I just leave, she's going to go crazy. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know. I was worried about that. So I would stick around and I'd be like, trying to convince her, like, we're not really a good fit. Like, you like this, I like that.
You're not happy, are you?
Yeah, come on, you got to be happier somewhere else. Like, I was trying to make it so she'd be like, you know what, you're right. We should end this. And I'd be like, are you sure? And then be like, okay, if you say so.
What's your sign? What's your sign?
Take a guess. I told this story before, and somebody was like, "Oh, he's definitely," and I was like,
"Okay, damn, are you an air or are you a fire sign?"
Neither.
So you're a water.
Yeah.
Don't say you're a Pisces.
Nope. Cancer.
Oh, that's my rising, and that's where I get my emotions. Okay, well, that's crazy.
Emotions, yeah. So I'm probably like the only sign.
I should have said that first, honestly. But I was like, as long as you're not a Pisces, that's fine.
No. I have my signs that I stay away from too. So yeah, that is definitely a Cancer trait, I would say. It's because I was so worried about, I cared about her so much. I just knew the relationship wasn't working out no more. And every time I broke up with her, it broke my heart to see her crying and, all that stuff. I was like, damn, I can't believe I'm the one doing this to her. Like, even though we're not meant, I don't want to see this happening. So all right, I'll stick around a little longer until she decides that we ain't fit for each other,
So how long did it take? Like, how long was that?
We stayed together for an extra like 4 months.
Oh,
it was long.
Yeah, okay.
It was long because she was such a dramatic breakup person.
Okay.
Like, you break up and it's like hell, calling your phone 20 times in the middle of the night, to eventually you're like, this is breaking my heart, knowing that it's like leaving, not to compare, probably a bad analogy, but it's like leaving your dog in the apartment for work and you hear it crying and crying and crying. Like, you're feeling bad. It's very uncomfortable. So when the phone calls are coming in late at night and I'm trying to be strong and not answer this call, eventually you give in. Yeah. You pick up the phone, you hear this heartbreaking voice on the phone, and it tears you up inside. Mm-hmm. And you just want to do everything in your power to get rid of it. And you're just like, okay, all right, listen, we could try it again.
Yeah, you start feeling guilty because you're like, is it me? Am I being selfish because I want?
Like, am I giving up too soon? Like, what's happening? And so,
am I not a team player? Yeah. I've definitely.
I went back and forth with that for quite some time until eventually I was like, okay, I think she sees it as much as I see it. Now we can.
Yeah, I've definitely been there before.
Yeah.
And you feel it's like guilt. It's just a plethora of emotions. But I will say, like, that is like serious relationships, or that's like relationships that you've invested so much of your emotions to, and so much, so it hurts. But at the same time, it's also that person that kind of like is like, I got you. I know if I do this, he's coming back. Or he's not going nowhere. Or she's not going nowhere. All I got to do is pop up. Or you're aware.
Here's the difference. If she had done something, like you said, abruptly, that warranted an entire breakup, then I would have felt no guilt, no shame, no nothing. Because at that point, you're like, you cheated on me? I'm out. I don't have to feel bad for you crying at that point. Mm-hmm. But if it was a matter of us kind of just growing apart, and it wasn't anything that we could put our foot on or whatever the case, would be like, this is what you did to me. That didn't happen. It was really just a growing apart. And that's what made it harder, because it's like, damn, like, I know deep down she's a good person and she means well. We're just no longer compatible. So those are harder to break up from than that she cheated on me. If she had done that, it would have been easy as hell. I'd have been goodbye.
So, okay. Quick question. Yeah. What is your advice for people that have been in situations or relationships where it's like, nothing happened, we just grew apart?
Okay.
That's human nature. I mean, I'm not going to be the same person I am today a year from now. Like, that's just our process. We're supposed to change. But do you think that's a strong point of communication with direction in your relationship? Because if I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing, and then we wake up and realize, like, Seth, this isn't me anymore. Yeah. That's not something that happens overnight. There's been a process that either was ignored or you guys were just too busy to even notice. I'll say notice it. People with that type of mentality, I don't think that they'll ever last in a marriage, because if you're afraid of that change, or you're afraid of that distance, or I'm going my way, you're going your way, it's like, how do you keep that mold together that allows you to change individually, obviously, but change in a respect where it's still one?
So, in my situation, we grew apart in the sense where my business started to pick up.
Okay.
Right? And my time started to shift. It shifted from being 100% available for her to, I need to get my life together and I need to start doing this, right?
Okay.
As I shifted some of my attention to myself, which in return would be for us, because I'm paying for everything, my absence caused her to start doing other things, hanging with people that she no longer hung with anymore while we were spending all of our time together. Okay. That makes sense? So as I started to become more into my business and trying to do better for myself, she started to go more into the direction she was in when I first met her, which was hanging with the friends and partying and doing all that type of stuff. So I started to feel like we were going in opposite directions. It's like, I'm trying to elevate.
You're working backwards.
I'd love for you to come with me so that we can, you know, maybe do something together, maybe create a brand together, maybe do like a YouTube channel together or something. You see what I mean? But we couldn't get along long enough without the bickering to feel any type of security in starting a brand together.
Okay.
She used to say, I don't know if I want to start a brand because we fight so often. I would hate to attach my name to your name. We start growing and then all of a sudden we break up. And it made sense. I said, I see what you mean by that. So I focused on myself. She started to do her thing. And then after a while, I just started to realize, okay, this is no longer the team effort that I felt in the beginning. Now I feel like we're just going different ways. You see what I mean? So I can't speak for every relationship and how other people grow apart. Usually you're right. It is a lack of communication of what, you know, some person is missing that isn't speaking up about as to what they need. I was very vocal about what I was expecting. She just wasn't ready to be that person yet.
Okay.
And she needed time to get through her stuff, which she has now. So she's on a new relationship. She's happy and she's great. I'm happy for her. You know what I mean? But at the time that we were together, I knew that I couldn't do anything else for her. I'm like, you just need time. You got to go through this stuff yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so we grew apart respectfully. And we did it at an appropriate time to where we didn't become enemies.
Enemies, yeah.
Yeah, you stick around too long and you keep trying to beat a dead horse when you know it's gone. That's when something big happens. You know what I mean? You get crazy and cops are coming and then all of a sudden you have resentment for this person because they affected your life somehow. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. Because I've been in a situation like that, it was hurtful in the process, but once it was like fully let go, what God had for me, I was like, wow, like I could have gotten to this way sooner had I not been in my own way.
Gotcha.
Because I have this idea of what I think I want. But, you know, I was explaining this to someone earlier, and I'm like, you know, I feel like women today, our relationships really don't last long because we're looking for things that we want in a man. And what you want is not exactly what you need.
Okay. Oh,
and wants are something that is temporary and it changes. My wants today may not be my wants next year, next month. So I feel like that's also an ingredient into we aren't the same people that we met, because what I want now that I'm 35 isn't what I wanted at 25.
Yeah.
But what I need as a woman, as a wife, I don't feel like those needs are ever going to change. I'm always going to need stability. I'm always going to need communication. I'm always going to need honesty. I'm always going to need to be put in a position that we're constantly thriving, growing, whatever it is that we're doing. Now, it's like if I want a man that, you know, takes me shopping, I may want a man that likes to hang out with his friends and myself and, you know, be social. That's cool now, but once that no longer is fun to me, or I'm like, hey, we have a kid now, or we have babies, like we can't be, you know, going out all the time. Now that's not fun anymore. But this was the basis of our relationship when I met you, before the kids came, before all this stuff happened. That didn't change for me. This is what I want. So, you know, you kind of have to put into, I wouldn't even say that, because it takes experience. You don't really gain knowledge without experience, and you have to go through certain things in order to even be like, you know, my next go around, I know what I need and I know what I don't need. And I just feel like, you know, if you get it at an early age, great. But I feel like anywhere from 25 to 28 is when you're going to start having that enlightenment period of like, all right, this time jetted by so quick. If I don't put all my knowledge gems together, moving forward, it's either gonna work or it's not.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like pickiness starts to go down slightly as you get older.
Slim picking.
You're
especially
like,
being
you got two
LA,
legs. All right, come on.
It's slim pickings. It's slim pickings, or you're around people that, like, you know somebody that they've dated, and it's like, I definitely don't want you. And like, is this what I'm left with? To the point where it's like, you know, I don't mind building, I don't mind, you know, doing these things with certain people, but it's just like certain things you kind of already have to have checked off in the box. And if they aren't checked off in the box, you have to be willing to grow into that, or you have to be willing to, you know, change, compromise, or cut it off. And if it's not one of those threes, then it's kind of like, don't waste your time. Because if you're trying to, you know, watch something grow into something that you know it's not going to be, hoping up on good faith, is like, you know, you waste your time. And I just don't really feel like people need a bunch of opportunities to figure out if something is a wolf or not. Like, you know, you see the teeth, you see the paws, you see the fur sticking out. Like, it's not a dog. You know, and you've been around the block a few times. Like, you know. So it's time to apply knowledge and move forward. You'll never get to your destination as far as a purpose if you're always constantly going through the same lessons with people or putting people through the same thing. You're just, it's not going to happen.
All right, y'all. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Fury Talks, in which we covered the very controversial cheating. You know, the most fearful thing in every relationship. We talked about the do's, the don'ts, and hopefully you guys were able to take something from this. Now, Ms. Chaya, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Listening to me.
Absolutely. You were dropping some gems. So tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, if you care to find me, you can find me on Instagram at ChayaDrake_.
Gotta leave the underscore. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Be sure to subscribe, like, share this video with as many people as possible so everybody can see it. And if you haven't already, turn on the post notifications so you know when our next episode comes up. Till next time, Fury Talks. Appreciate you guys. Later.